Joining us now is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efeni, the great Malabai, to take a look at stories from newspapers around the world.
Good morning, Ruben. Good morning, Ayo.
Good morning.
Yes, we start the newspaper review with this day Nigeria's newspaper of record. We start from the story above the masthead, the window story. Edu, Nigeria eyeing multi-trillion-dollar climate change financing. Privatization to fund 2024 budget. Ministers, senators welcome plan to privatize MDA's real estate property. Minister of Finance, of course, Wale Edu, who is also the coordinating minister for the economy, of course, saying that the country is targeting the multi-trillion dollar climate change financing to finance the deficit in the budget 2024. Because many have been asking, where is the money going to come from? Yes, and now we know that all the efforts in Dubai, well, will yield some dividends where Nigeria will be tapping into the multi-trillion dollar climate change financing to deal with aspects of the budget. Now, the story below the window story, Obagbena to receive Lifetime Achievement Honor at Dame Awards. Yes, Prince Nduka Obagbena, chairman of the These Day Arise Media Group, will be honored with Lifetime Achievement by the Dame. Dame Media Award, a foremost media award. Yes, giving honor to whom honor is due. Prince Nduka Obagbena has done a lot in the media space. Of course, you call him a pace setter, one who has groomed leaders, make stars, who has also gone on to do big things at different levels. So Prince Nduka Obagbena will be honored by them. Yes, a prophet being recognized in his own country. Only last year, he was honored with the Commander and Order of the Niger, CON. And, of course, was also honored with the highest journalistic award, Fellow of the Nigerian Guild of Editors. Congratulations, Prince Nduka Obagbena. We'll all be there to give him the support and also be part of the award. Yes, when your boss is doing well, you take part of the credit. You just go and do some photo ops also, but of course we'll be there to support Prince Nduka Obagbena receiving that a Lifetime Achievement Award. That award must be very heavy because I remember, coincidentally, Prince Nduka Obagbena also pioneered this issue of Lifetime Achievement Award when These Day Awards gave Lifetime Achievement Awards to a number of Nigerians who have done well in politics, in civil service, and, of course, in the private sector. Now, if we look at the lead story there, CDS on Kaduna bombing, we acted on intelligence but missed. It's highly regrettable. Defense headquarters explain how drone acquired eliminated targets. Says suspicious movement of celebrating crowd pose threats. Army chief visit victim, apologizes to review operations. Tinubu orders probe, declares incident painful, disturbing. Atiku, Obi say miscalculated airstrikes becoming worrisome. And of course, the Daily Trust newspaper also reporting this story. Kaduna massacre, northern leaders, others demand compensation. Residents narrate ordeals, Tinubu orders probe. While the Punch newspaper also has a story, Kaduna bombings, village bombings. Death toll hits 120. Villagers allege military bombed twice. One family loses 32 members. Culprits must be penalized. Survivors, ACF, GNI, tell military. Army chief begs victim. Says soldiers mistook villagers for bandits. Tinubu, Atiku, mourn. Now, if we look at the story above the masthead, auction, presidential aircraft bidders get December 24 deadline. Yes, one of the an aircraft in the presidential fleet is up for sale. Well, Perhaps one of the ways to raise money and cut the presidential fleet to manageable level. Now, the Daily Sun newspaper, Sultan caution against dangerous emigration, urge Nigerians to avoid relocation plan exposing them to danger, inhumane treatment. Of course, the Japa syndrome. A number of persons finding their way out of the country is not all green pasture. Some are doom and gloom story. And the Sultan and the Christian Association of Nigeria cautioning Nigerians who will leave their jobs. Some who have good jobs here, they just sell everything they have to relocate only to be doing some menial job in other countries. Now, if we look at the Vanguard newspaper, 2024 budget, Tinubu Shetima aids to spend 15.961 billion on trips. Villa mechanical and electrical maintenance, 9 billion naira. Vehicle, 6 billion naira. Foodstuff, catering, material supplies, 602 million naira. State House miscellaneous, 2.54 billion naira. Villa computers, repairs, 980 million naira. Villa honorarium, 365.8 million naira. Well, I'm sure some of these figures, the Senate and the House of Representatives should take serious look at these figures. Because you want to ask, honorarium, 365.8 million naira. Well, Ruben, you know, I don't know whether you know what the honorarium you give at the State House, but those figures look really bogus for a country that is saying we are living in hard times and Nigerians being asked to make sacrifice. Now, the Guardian newspaper, states grown in debt, poor funding, despite 16 trillion FAC windfall. While the New Telegraph newspaper, governors' biggest beneficiaries of fuel subsidy removal, NASU, that's the Non-Academic Staff Union of Universities, 6 national minimum wage review over inflation rise. Subsidy removal affected 90% of businesses in Nigeria negatively, according to a report. While of course, the photograph on the front page of the New Telegraph newspaper there, Enugu Governor Dr. Peter Umba, yes, presenting the budget yesterday. And according to this day newspaper, they call it Enugu's budget for disruptive economic growth. Well, I'm sure Rotus will be paying attention to this budget because for the first time, whether at the federal level or at the subnational level, a budget has dedicated 33% to education. 33% of the Enugu budget dedicated to education. While also, another rarity, you will say, capital projects, 79%, while recurrent is 21%. I've not seen this kind of positive arrangement of budget in recent times. Ruben and Ayo. If we look at the Times of London, middle way on Rwanda. They are still pursuing the Rwanda matter. Yes, and they're coming up with a law to circumvent the Supreme Court ruling.
Yeah, emergency legislation.
Yes.
Now, James Cleverly was in Kigali yesterday where he signed that deal with Rwanda. And this deal cannot fly because the Supreme Court had disagreed with the earlier deal that was signed. So this is a new one. And this new one, the expectation on the part of the minister and the prime minister is that this will manage to circumvent the Supreme Court. And that's why they had to come up with an emergency legislation, either today or by the end of tomorrow, the details of which has already caused divisions among members of the Conservative Party, principally because of concerns about human rights laws, and particularly the European Union human rights regulations. There are those who say, let's do away with this human rights law and deport people to Rwanda. There are people within the party who also say that, no, that's not possible. With 10 members of the cabinet threatening to resign if the prime minister goes ahead with his plan. The second thing, of course, that is of concern is a crisis, the apocalyptic situation developing in southern Gaza. Because Israel...
If we put on the Guardian newspaper, the Guardian of UK there, that's the headline. Apocalyptic conditions in Gaza, blocking aid, warns UN official.
Okay,
yes.
That's the story there in the Guardian. Israel has continued to escalate the offensive in southern Gaza with as much ferocity as it did in the northern part.
What is happening in Gaza is massacre, Ruben.
As it is, Benjamin Netanyahu may well achieve his objective of annihilating the entire Gaza Strip, even if the target is the Hamas militants.
Well, just to say congratulations to the Duke himself on the Lifetime Achievement Award, Dame Awards, and looking for, I think it's important to know that you cannot talk about media and journalism in Nigeria without mentioning the strides he's made in this industry. And of course, Mr. Olabode Augusto, the night of tributes heard from him. I see pictures on the front page of this day newspaper. A fine gentleman who worked not just in private sector, but also served his country as well in government. Thank you so much, Mr. Feni.